Guess what game we're playing? Find Gorbachev.
Hello and welcome again to Expat American. Today I am at a large convent, like in The Sound of Music, and I've got a friend with me, an expat, but this time not an expat American. And the question we want to ask is Russia a Christian country? In history, in US schools, we are taught basically anything that covers the Bible and America. So it usually goes Egypt, Greece, Rome, Britain, on to America, and then the other countries only if we get involved in some sort of military conflict. So that's a long question, but what would you say to Americans or people in the West that when they think Russia, they just think Soviet Union atheism, and do you think that that's a correct statement?
So I'd probably answer by saying that the Soviet Union had a history before that. So there was the Russian Empire, and it was officially a Christian state, an Orthodox Christian state, dating back to the 10th century when Vladimir had introduced Orthodox Christianity to the nation. Back then it was the Kievan Rus. And since then, most of the country had practiced Orthodox Christianity. So if you were born, by right, you were almost immediately baptized. And considered to be a member of the Russian Orthodox Church. And so when the Soviet Union came to be, you'd see that people didn't stop practicing faith, they just had to practice it in secret. Until the Soviet Union dissolved, and in maybe 1997, a law was passed saying that people have the right to freely practice whatever religion they believe in.
Oh wow. Yeah, 1997, cool. When I meet you and I hear your accent, which is no accent at all, I'm an American, and I'm thinking, this guy's an American, but who are you?
So I'm a citizen of the UK, born and raised, but I left maybe 6 years ago, and since then, yeah, it's been different living outside of your home country, speaking to mostly Americans or people that have learned American English.
Oh, okay. So you spent like 20 years in Britain, and now you spent like 6 years in Russia.
Yeah.
What brought you here?
So when I went to college, I picked politics as my major, but I had Russian studies as my minor. And one of my years that I spent studying was spent here in Moscow. And that's when I first came to the Russian Federation. Wow.
So you decided to stay?
Yeah, I really enjoyed my time here, and that's when I met my wife, fell in love with her, and yeah, made a conscious decision to come back here when I finished my studies.
So there's Moscow City right over there, Andrew. I didn't know that was there. So we're standing outside this convent. Right here there's a plaque in English for all you English speakers, and over here the same plaque is in Russian. So we're here in this convent. I, an expat American, Andrew, an expat Britain, in Moscow, Russia. And what you're telling me, Andrew, is Russia is a Christian country. So tell us about this place.
So as you can see, Russia has deep ties to Christianity. And if you look behind us over here, this building's called the Our Lady of Smolensk Cathedral. It was built just over 500 years ago, or just under 500 years ago, and was part of the southern defenses of the city. So, of course, many of us would know the Kremlin used to be the center of the city, but there were other places outside of the center that were built and were fortified as well. So this was part of one of the other fortifications that we'd have in Moscow, and so this was part of the southern defense of Moscow. And if you look behind us over here, this is a nice tower that was just built 350 years ago. And as you can see, as the empire started to progress, technology had improved, and this nice tower just appeared, and I'd say it objectively looks more modern and nicer than this, of course. The difference, of course, is 150 years.
Right.
And that's pretty much it. But the ties here that Russia has to Christianity is the same as, I guess you'd say, about mainland Europe to Catholicism.
Andrew, you seem to know a lot about Russia and church history. What's up with that?
So, I mean, my mother, she's from the Ukraine. She's a Russian.
Oh, wow.
And just by being a kid and learning about her heritage, I'd learned about a bit of Russian history. But in terms of just being and living here, I just got to learn a lot, and I really enjoyed my time here. And I think when it comes to, as well, my profession, I myself, I teach English, but also I'm a volunteer youth minister for the church that I'm a part of,
Nice.
that you are also a part of.
Yes.
And I mean, I guess to be a part of that church and not understand the context of the place that we serve in
Right.
would be a big mistake. So of course we have to learn a lot about this nation and the history that it has.
So we have to talk quiet because the windows are open. We just got out of the convent, and our camera person is a Devishka. Oh man, here she is. And they actually made her cover her head. Why is that, Andrew?
So of course there's even scriptures in the Bible which talks about head coverings, and part of Orthodox tradition is that when a woman enters a chapel, she's to cover her head, and it's I mean, if you don't believe in it, it's more than just following the rules. It's about a sign of respect for the traditions of the Orthodox Church.
So Andrew, where are we headed now?
So we are headed towards the NOVODEVICHIY cemetery. Now it is adjacent to the convent, but it is separate. It's separated by this big wall, and so we have to walk around. And this is the resting place of many, many famous people that we are going to share with you in a little while. Those of you who don't know, this is the grave of Mikhail Gorbachev, the first and the last president of the Soviet Union. And this is a man who is very polarizing in Russia today, as he's credited for being the one who ended the Cold War. First off, started when he broke down the Berlin Wall, which then, of course, in a different turn of events led to what many would say was the downfall of the Soviet Union. And so many people love him for that, and there are also people who hate him for that. And of course, as you can see, he has a very humble grave here compared to other leaders. And there are even people who left some flowers in, I think this is German here, so I think there are many people in Germany who are thankful for the role that he played in reunifying the country.
So should we get something to eat, guys?
Yeah, I want to get something to eat.
I agree. Look, it's MGU over there.
MGU? Oh, nice. Aurora's University.
So this one
did I just hand you?
This is the one that you handed. Yeah.
So we got our shawarma thanks to Andrew's advice. We're learning what Russians like to eat. Andrew, one of my subscribers asked, do you have to be Orthodox if you want to be Christian in Russia?
So no, because thanks to one of the laws that was passed in 1997, Russia is technically, according to the Russian constitution, a secular state, which has the right and the freedom to have any faith that you would love to ascribe to.
All right, so to recap, because everyone has their own version of what Christianity is, you would say Russia is a place full of people that believe in Jesus, and this has been a historical thing. And during the Soviet Union, it was technically an atheist country, but people still believed. And now that's over, people are outwardly practicing their faith again.
Yeah, definitely. When the Soviet Union came, it was outlawed to be a Christian or just to have any faith, as it was a secular state, an atheist state. But people still practiced their faith in quiet and secret. But during the war, Second World War, it was reintroduced as a law that you are allowed to once again practice your faith, because the government realized that faith was an important aspect to winning the war. And so definitely something that's very just culturally intertwined with the country itself.
Fantastic, awesome. Well, we'll enjoy our shawarma now, our lamb and burrito and veggies and sauce. And if you like this video, click like, subscribe, click the bell notification, and then click this video that I might put on his face or on his feet if you want to see more.
Tasty. Вкусно.